guys. Just showing off a build I made for my buddy Sheriff. Alright, Sheriff. So, this is his dial he sent my way. I happen to have some like this, but I noticed that mine didn't have the, what is it, Kaliningrad reference above Russia. So all mine were just the flag, the Russian flag. So it was good he had this. So took that, put it in an 090 matte case with a stadium bezel. That's what I call them because it looks like it's in a stadium. So nice oversized bezel. Threw on a Vostok crown. Did a custom engraved Vostok caseback. I'm saying Vostok because there's a B, but it's just pronounced Vostok. So Vostok caseback. Did a side rotor in there, which you can see just a little bit on the side. Did a set of red paddle hands, and then went with the stock seconds hand that came on the 090. Put this on an engineered band, which I took a few links out for you, and still had a Kommandersky engraved double lock clasp. So went ahead and threw that on. So double lock, and then this has micro adjustments on the side. You can just push it down, or you can squeeze it and compress it back down as you squeeze it. If you can actually see in there. You can't really, can you? Because it wants to focus on something else. But all it's doing is just releasing the sides from squeezing on that. Nice tight click. And that's your build, buddy. So I think it came out pretty awesome. And I liked, I thought about doing silver hands. What's funny is your accents kind of have this look to them like they're brass, but up close, it looked like they were like a distressed silver and then black. What was also fun was setting your hands. So you might not notice this until you look really close, but the pip dot is in a different spot than the tab. You see how like this one is on the inside? This one is arguably lined up, but it's actually a little bit further up to the outside. That one's further to the outside. That's on the inside, 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 inside. And then if you look at this one, that circle pip isn't directly above. Man, this thing does not want to focus on what I'm trying to focus on. That circle pip is not directly above the top of that flag. So I was like, what am I lining it up with? So what I ended up doing was lining the 3 o'clock directly in line with the stem, which is, when it's outside of the case, you can just see the stem coming right off. So I lined that straight up, and then I made sure I had a perfect 90 going up. Then however that is exactly how it's supposed to be throughout the rest of the watch. So that was fun. But yeah, you might not notice that until you're like, oh wait, okay, yeah, these are in a little bit different spots. Like, what's so confusing is it doesn't even do the same thing around here. Like, this one's on the outside of it, and that one's on the inside of it. If anything, it should be mirrored. Like, they should both be on the outside or both be on the inside. So then it just kind of puts it a little bit behind going all the way around. So threw me off just a little bit, but we're on, buddy. Your extra links are in here. I did 2 on each side. I also happen to have my buddy over at 1 Second Closer, which I bought out all of his inventory. He had some clear silicone amphibia silicone bands left, so sent my way. So in case you would ever want to swap to something a little less heavy, or if it's summertime and you're sweating a lot, or wintertime and it's extra cold, I don't know. It's normally when you swap to a leather, but you're gonna have to get your own. These have the quick disconnects on them, which you won't really be able to use on this, since these are just tubes. But you just use another 22 millimeter spring bar, or use it on whatever watch you want. You have plenty of watches from me that do not have quick disconnects on them and have leathers. So, but that is your build, man. Bezel on this will turn left, it'll turn right. I put an extremely tight tension ring bezel on this, and I just line these up on both sides. Put that kind of in the middle. That tells me where the center is on that, because you're like, oh, do I line it up with the top of the crown or that pip? And I believe it's actually with the top of the crown. So, but yeah, fun. Automatic mechanical, as you see, you got a rotor in the back, and as you're moving, that rotor is moving, and it's putting micro winds into the movement. So before you set the time, before you put it on, you want to wind it just a little bit, because if you are not keeping this thing going around, you might lose time. So put a little bit of wind into it before you put it on. Sheriff knows this, but if you're watching it and you don't know this, break the crown back. It's going to, you're going to hear it clicking. You'll feel a little bit of play there. You know you're off that crown tube, and at that point you can wind. And a wind is a turn away from you. So clockwise as you're looking at it from the side. Counterclockwise does not wind it, but it is a lot easier to keep your finger spacing. And go back and forth. 4 or 5 seconds of that mixed with the rotor movement will keep your time throughout the day, but if you do it for another 4 or 5 seconds, you will max out your 31-hour plus power reserve on the movement. You cannot overwind it. It has a slipping mainspring, and will just deflect once it's at max. So you can set the time, set it down. 31 hours later, it should still be running. Usually goes for like 34. I think I read that they'll go upwards of 40. That sounds like it's probably super fresh. Movement might be at that point where there's zip friction. Pull it out to the one and only click when you're happy. With your winding, you're going to notice that the seconds hand will not stop. It is not a hacking movement. You also notice you got a wobble crown. That deflects lateral pressure from going into the stem and into the movement. So when you're pushing and prying on it, you're not putting any adverse pressure on the movement or the keyless works. Alexa, what time is it? 7:21 p.m. Push it over, get it out of that time setting, and then thread it back on. And that, sir, is your build. As with every build, you get a set of matching beads. The wife went with a little bit of white, blue, and red there for you. And I happen to still have some of my original Vostok slider boxes, so you'll get one of these. I only have a few of those left. And then you don't need these things. You told me not to send them, so no worries. But for anybody else who would buy something like this, you'd normally get watch cleaner. He has all kinds. This is good on all glass and metal, so this watch as a whole, non-streaking, non-toxic, non-residue, as well as a microfiber. And you would also get fine scratch remover. This is Novus 2 from Amazon, just like Polywatch. I just repackage it. It's for that domed acrylic glass, which it's not really domed whenever you have one of these bezels on there. Maybe. Yeah, it's pretty protected unless you'd hit it straight on. But not rubbing it, you know. You have to kind of like rub and then, you know, rub into whatever to hit that glass. But if you would scratch it, he would use a tiny bit of this and buff it out with an additional microfiber, going against that scratch, filling that scratch, hazing it, buffing it, and it would be gone. But he has all kinds of that, so he won't need that. This is a matte finish. If you would get a scratch in it, unfortunately, you'd probably just want to brush it in and just kind of do rounded passes with the green side of a Scotch-Brite. If you get anything on this, if you get anything deep, you can always swap out a couple of these links, because you got 3 deep on each side. But what you do is you just open this up, use the green side of a Scotch-Brite, and then brush it straight. Don't go back and forth. Do single passes. Same thing with this. If you get anything on that, single passes. Then when you're done, flip this down, do the single passes on this one. You don't want to do them together. It doesn't work. It's awkward. It kind of gets caught into that. It's like pulling. I don't know. I guess if you do that way, you might be able to do it. But you don't want this clasped, because if this isn't bothered, you don't want to do this and pull it away and then start doing angled lines that way. If you're, so I don't know. You know how to do things, but and then you obviously have your quick disconnect, so you can pop this thing right off and get to it easy. But that is your build, good sir. I appreciate you for sending me that dial and having me put together a watch for you. If you want me to build something custom and unique for you, reach out and I'll see what I can do. And if you want to continue to see videos like this, like and subscribe, as I put them up all the time. Thanks, guys.